Right, hello, Idiots on Parade, the Too Ugly for TV podcast. We mock the news so you don't have to. I am Nathan Timmel, stand-up comedian in Iowa City. With me, as always, is Jake Vevra, stand-up comedian in New York City. Hello, Jake.
How's it going?
I like how AC says it's morning in Alaska. So how many hours behind? I was in Anchorage, but I can't remember if Anchorage is behind Portland. It must be.
Oh, really? It's one past Pacific.
Yeah, 3 hours. All right.
Okay, so it's Pacific, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's jump into the news as we get started, and we'll let the chat catch up. And then once they start insulting us, we will laugh and point out what they say. Where's the first story? Oh, here we go. First story. This one. Beautiful throwback. South Carolina prepares for first firing squad execution, ushering return of a rare method. Brad Sigmon, 67, has opted not to die by electrocution or lethal injection in his planned March 7th, that's today as we record, execution. The last firing squad execution was carried out by Utah in 2010. 2010 is not that long ago. I would have expected to see longer than that, but
No, it doesn't surprise me because I think it's optional, right? They give you the option in a lot of these places, and every now and then you are going to have some dude who's just like, yeah, let's go out badass. Let's do firing squad.
You have to wonder if he's going out badass because he thinks it'll be cool, or if because he's been reading what we've talked about.
Yes, I was going to bring this up.
Where the put to sleep medication is being yanked, and so you know people go into convulsions and they go into so he's just like, you better get me with the head, like just end it. I don't want to sit drooling and falling apart.
Yeah, I don't know where it's more humane if like a third of the time they give it to a guy and it turns into the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark for like 20 minutes. Like, what the hell is that? Just do a firing squad at this point. Our whole country is filled with AR-15s and fentanyl. You mean we can't kill somebody on purpose?
Now fentanyl would be because that's I had a colonoscopy on January 2nd, and they gave me fentanyl, and like, I remember you fall asleep mid-sentence. They're like, okay, we're going to do whatever. And because I've had 2 colonoscopies, and both of them, I remember being there, talking to the people, and then I'm awake in a different room, and they're going, hey, everything went great. Right. I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Last time I had something in my ass, I had a similar experience.
You've been given drugs, and you just woke up with something up there?
Listen, I'm not going into a lot of details on that. Just know it was similar in some ways and different in others.
AC says if we sold tickets to public executions, people would buy them. I mean, we are not that far removed from when public, stonings and hangings and, it used to be a picnic in the South when they would string someone up. Everyone would gather around and say, oh, look, we got one of them.
I think Trump's not far off. I think, I think there's going to be some heinous crime, probably by somebody without papers. And he's just going to sit there and go, we need to make an example. We need to create the American Coliseum. We're feeding him to lions.
I would watch. Lions I would watch. Public execution, I had to let the dog out if anybody didn't hear me. I don't know. That public execution just seems a little in poor taste, but lions, at least the lions are getting fed. There's something that good will come out of it. Is and then lions poop.
So you're saying hanging is too much, but you're willing to watch a man be eaten alive by lions.
Yeah, I just said because it's part of nature. It's the hunted and the prey. I'd want to know what the guy did. I wouldn't just want like any random. Like, oh, he's a pedophile. He hurt kids. Good. Let's watch a lion chow down on him.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's going to be weird a year later when the DNA comes back inconclusive or whatever. Yeah, there was a little mix up at the lab, and we just fed some rando dude named Gary to a lion.
And people always talk DNA. I'm pro death penalty, but yeah, you gotta, once it's all lined up and it's proven guilt, then do it. Whenever it's
as opposed to what? As opposed to the people that they convict who they don't feel is lined up or guilt is proven?
But they fight them all the time. There are people, like there was a guy that held a hand up in court and said, hey, the hand that killed your daughter now masturbates to the memory of it. That guy can be killed. He was absolutely guilty. He was insane. Fucking kill him. There are other people you know are fucking guilty. This guy's going for
Fair
it.
enough,
So
but I say to you, then who decides who is so guilty that they get the death penalty? A jury, right? They get it wrong sometimes, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm not just talking about the guy who's so obvious, like the guy who they found heads in his fridge or whatever.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The guy where they found heads in his fridge.
Okay,
I'm not saying it should
again,
be mandatory death penalty for parking tickets.
again, it doesn't. The devil comes down to the details. Who's deciding which ones are so obvious that they should get the death penalty? The same people that are convicting them, right? They wouldn't convict them if they didn't think they were guilty.
Yes, they do. That happens all the time. They just want the numbers.
No, is that okay? The prosecution, yeah. The prosecutor, sure. The judge and the jury, no. I'm not saying the judges and juries aren't manipulated, but they can be manipulated into thinking, oh, this guy's so guilty, we got to execute him. That's why this whole thing doesn't work for me. And more importantly, I think life in prison's fucking worse anyway. So what are we even talking about here?
No, I know we've had this discussion. See, you want to punish them for the rest of their lives. I just want them off the planet. Like I'm not about punishing them. And well, I mean, although lion eating would be. AC has a good point that hopes they're more lively than a lion in the MGM intro. He just made me think of the movie Strange Brew, where Bob and Doug McKenzie are cranking on the lion's tail, and it burps at the intro. But that's just
shit. I don't remember this. This was from like the silent film era. This movie. I don't.
Strange Brew is Bob and Doug McKenzie. Classic movies. Not.
I mean, I saw it when I was a kid. That shit was from like the 70s, right?
80s, late 80s, mid 80s.
All right. Either way, I was busy watching Choo Choo Trains when this fucking thing came out, man. I wasn't watching Strange Brew.
Either way, it's one of the differences you and I have had ever since we began talking and met. Yeah, you like life in prison. I have a more laissez-faire, carelessness attitude when it comes to life.
Again, everybody goes, well, the ones we know are guilty. Okay, well, the jury knew they were guilty every time they convicted somebody, and then it's come back that it was wrong. So that's where you run into problems.
True, but I have a joke about it on stage, and it finishes with, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. So, I mean, it...
All right. I mean,
we have car accidents. Do we ban cars? Do we say planes crash? Do we say we can't fly anymore? Why is this the one thing where we say, hey, if one bad thing happens, we must end it completely? Because shit happens in life.
Equally or worse thing we can do to them instead, where we can just let them out when we get it wrong. That's why everybody, all these pro-death penalty rednecks and Timmel sit there going, well, if we don't kill them, they're going to be in a country club called federal penitentiaries. No, federal penitentiaries suck ass.
How much time have you spent in a federal penitentiary? I haven't spent much, but I've heard they're nicer than the butt stuff prisons.
I mean, I've been to county enough times that I wouldn't want to spend the rest of my life there. I would, if you gave me the choice of like a firing squad, or hell, I'll even say 20 years in county or federal or whatever. Hell, I'll even say juvenile detention or juvenile rehab. I would take a firing squad over 20 years of pretending to some drug counselor that I don't want to get high or drunk again when I really do.
Going back to you just said something that made me think of the original story that we're talking about. I don't know what you said because I'd reference it because it sounds like I'm making a left turn when I'm just trying to continue the conversation. But the idea that he makes the choice of like the electric chair was an option. Like that's the one no one would want to choose because you just sit there and you have your Green Mile accident because they forgot to sponge down his head.
I think it's pretty rare though, dude. I would take electric chair over lethal injection any day.
Really?
Because like we said, oh yeah, dude, it would be. It's a hell of a lot less common than just those drugs go in and it takes a guy 45 minutes to die. Just because he's not.
Isn't he asleep though?
Going, like doesn't mean that shit doesn't hurt like hell.
I thought that way, even if you're flopping, you're still unconscious, and they try and say, oh, but he still was aware of what was happening.
Not necessarily.
I don't know.
That's what, there's people who argue that, and I mean, we'll never really know because unless we get a Ouija board that fucking works for once, we're not really. But I mean, doctors seem to think that some of these guys know what the hell's going on, and I'm like, nah, give me literally anything other than that.
I want to know. So the firing squad, as I understand it, is one guy takes like they line up five riflemen, but only one has active rounds, and he better be a sharpshooter. Is that the
Nah,
case, or is that a myth? Or are they all shooting for the head and heart?
I have heard that sometimes they will do a thing where there's like, 10 guys or something and one guy has blanks. But
Right.
that's stupid to me because anybody who's fired plenty of fucking bullets before can tell the difference between a blank or an active fucking round when it goes off.
Well, I found it at the bottom of the article, so it is in here.
Look, and I'll tell you the difference. The difference between, because these are strong rounds that they're doing. These are not small bullets.
Yeah, they're not firing 22s.
Right, exactly. The difference when you fire a blank out of like an M16 is like the difference between getting kicked in the crotch by a place kicker or a 5-year-old. You know what I mean? Like one packs a little more punch.
I finally did find it scrolling all the way to the bottom. The number of shooters helps to ensure that the bullets that at least one of the bullets is fatal.
Exactly.
What's that?
Exactly. You want more bullets going.
Yeah,
into the guy,
and then they do, like you say, they also fed a blank so that each shooter was uncertain. One firearm was also fed a blank.
No, that's stupid. Anybody who does
So
that,
one guy-
that was
so-
made up by some goofy fucking liberal. Hey, man, and I consider myself pretty liberal. Goofy fucking liberal who doesn't know anything about guns. Because anybody who does know anything about guns knows you can tell the difference, especially with a rifle with a big round, a blank versus a real bullet. So anybody going, well, you don't know whether you got the blank or not. Yes, I do. By the way, it either went like boom or like that. I mean, that's the way it fucking, I mean, dude, it really, I mean, it's the difference between getting your shoulder hit open hand or like boom, like planting and twisting your feet with the, I mean, you can tell the difference.
Well, I want to ask you this.
Besides, not for nothing, if that guy is a pedophile or a murderer or something, give me the live bullet. Give me the real one. Give me the real one.
Yeah, but that's okay. So that's where I'm going with it.
If you're signing up for that gig, you want the real bullet anyway. You ain't some cuck sitting there with
that's the point I was just gonna make. What person that would be involved in the execution would get there and be pointing and go, oh shit, I don't want to do this. I hope I have the blank. Like if you're there, you pretty much want to be there and you're ready to pull that trigger. So yeah, I don't understand this option.
Even though I don't believe in shooting people and firing squads in America anymore, I'm not saying it wouldn't be fun for me to do it.
AC's jumping on Google. Some executions by firing squad have been botched. For example, in 1951, a firing squad in Utah, so that's twice in Utah. The last one was 20. Utah loves firing squad. Shot Eliseo J. Martis in the hip and abdomen. And it was several minutes before he was declared dead. Why can't they fire a second shot? Dude,
who the fuck?
Reload.
Who the fuck was doing this firing squad? The kid that shot Trump in the ear? Who is that bad at shooting? These are not hard rifles to do. They're sitting there at pistol range with a goddamn rifle, and there's multiple of these guys. How are they this bad at shooting?
And they're not. This isn't like a long-term sniper where you have to calculate wind resistance and you got a spotter telling you like one to the left or whatever. No, you're within. Like I could probably hit a guy from the distance. I'm not saying I would do a kill, but I could at least hit the body. But aren't these supposed to be trained shooters?
I mean, clearly the guy in 1951 who was running the firing squad was a DEI hire. I'll say that right now. Or Trump put him there because he was a host on Fox News. I don't know which, but he's wildly incompetent.
The bad thing about going live is someone just tried calling me and I had to, am I frozen at your end? God damn it.
No, you're not frozen. You're
still okay, good. I'm frozen at my end because someone just tried.
I was looking at the Zoom. Sorry. Yeah, you're way fucked up on this thing.
Motherfucker. I hung up on the person that tried calling through, and now it seems to have locked up my my live chat.
Maybe what we can do. Maybe
is there a way to block calls when you're on YouTube Live?
I think so, man. If you turn off the cell phone service, let's try next time. We just do Wi-Fi and no cell phone service.
Okay,
that might do it.
Hold on a second. God damn it. I want to know if you can hear me through the YouTube Live or if it's just completely.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can still hear you because I have you muted on the Zoom, so
Oh, that's right. So, okay. Well, it looks like everybody gets to see my profile. We'll just keep going, and if it catches up, it catches up. But yeah,
Yeah,
that was kind of. Oh, let me try this. I'm going to try one thing. I'm going to try flipping the camera and flipping it back. That's what
yeah.
I
I was
did. I
gonna say
flipped my camera
I
and then
did
it
mine.
unlocked. All right.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
All right. Next story. Oh, this one's fun. Have you been watching any of the videos of Republican legislators doing town hall meetings?
Yeah, they're pretty hilarious, dude.
They are, and every one I've seen is absolutely just normal, run of the mill. Like I've seen a bunch where it's a bunch of like farmers, like it's the people you'd expect at a town hall. They're
Right.
all in their 70s and they're all just, and so here we go. Speaker Johnson tells GOP lawmakers to skip town halls after onslaught of protests because it's somewhere in there. He's saying
They're
that
pussy.
the demonstrations are by professional protesters. I've seen a bunch of these clips. First of all, what the fuck is a professional protester? Do they really take out ads in Craigslist and say, "Hey, we need you to come down to the town hall"? And no, they are just running scared because they know they've got a shit agenda. They're fucking up everything. People are pissed and they're showing up at town halls. And so instead of standing up for what they believe in, they're running. What a bunch of fucking cowards.
Yeah, yeah. I do like the idea of a professional protester. He's trying to sell this idea that, like, I don't know, George Soros is hiring Liam Neeson's character from Taken. I have a certain set of skills. I will chant very annoying shit while you come to this town hall.
I will chant annoying shit, and outside, I can hold a sign on a stick that says "Boo, Elon." Solar
You
Lass
dozed my
wonders
daughter's
if
job, and now I am coming for you.
Solar Lass. I'm visible now, right? Because I was frozen for a second, but
Nope.
She said she was wondering if I'm back, but
Now you're still off, man.
we've seen this move before. Johnson said in a news conference, they're professional protesters, so why would we give them a forum to do that right now? Okay, you just make a claim, but there's no backing it up. When has it happened before? When have professionals been hired to go protest? I mean, isn't
January 6th. That's what is what he would say if pressed.
We've seen, hey, you know who professional protesters are, Jake? Lobbyists. Don't they get a bunch of money to go protest whatever bill is being written or not written and to get them to either pass or not pass what they want? Isn't that a professional protester?
Yeah, gee, if only the fiscal conservatives who are doging everybody would get rid of some of the lobbyists. What happened to that whole drain the swamp hole?
Exactly. Well, both AC and Solar Lass say they can't see me. As long as you can, Rich says audio, no Nate video. So, Rich, if you were in here earlier, I got a phone call. I hit ignore phone call, but apparently it fucked up my camera. So, no one fucking call me. Send me a text like an adult, you assholes. Anyway, so professional protesters are apparently a thing, but they just make sweeping generalizations. But they don't. They don't say when it happened. Well, we've seen this happen before. When?
Yeah. Wildly unspecific. It's almost as if he pulled it on his ass, out of his ass, right on the spot.
Republican Senator Rick Scott, Florida, said this is what President Trump got elected to do. And that's the part that I don't understand. Why are they so afraid? This is what he ran on. He ran on tariffs and deportations and thinning the government. This isn't a lie. I guess I don't understand why they should be standing there saying this is what you voted for.
I don't feel any bad. Dude, I don't feel bad at all for any right-winger who works for the federal government who just lost their fucking job. Like, I'm sorry, he was demonizing you guys the entire time he was running. But I thought they were just going to fire the deep state. You're the deep state, stupid. You're the one he was talking about. When Elon Musk's autistic apartheid-era ass got in front of the cameras and said, I'm going to cut $2 trillion. A, we knew he wasn't going to be able to cut that much. But B, if he even came close to that, if you weren't worried about that as a federal employee who does anything, I'm talking essential or not, you got to be freaked out. And if you still cast a ballot for him, that's on you. You deserve to get doged. You deserve to get your job chainsawed up by that goofy, ketamine up dude at CPAC.
Yes. And people like Ted Cruz are on my side. He's cheering him on, saying, I think Elon Musk's leadership and Doge has been terrific. It's been refreshing and has been desperately needed, and I am cheering him on each and every day. Ted Cruz, for a fucking sycophant that allowed Trump to call his wife ugly and his father a murderer, at least is towing the line. He is saying this is what we elected and whatever. All right, to the chat. AC and Solar Last say I wasn't visible before the phone
That's
call.
weird. I could see you.
Jake, you said you could see me when we started.
You know what? I could have been just looking at the Zoom the whole time.
Well, God damn it, because there were problems, but I thought I fixed them. Well,
I did see you for a second there. I did
Yeah.
see you for a second there. Then mostly I've been looking at the Zoom just because it's bigger. And
fuck YouTube, fuck technical. At least the audio works. That's all that matters. Is we're getting.
I think we
audio.
should try doing this through Zoom, man. We can live stream through Zoom.
Except Zoom has been fucking sucking lately. Well, because no, you need a professional account to do it through Zoom. We found that out. Remember?
Well, I might be able to work something with my. Yeah, I might be able to work something.
All right, next story. The next story is basically we've already done this, but Trump announces tariffs. The stock market fucking nosedives, and he dials them back almost immediately. Is he just doing it for fun now? I guess that's what I want to know. Is he just literally announcing tariffs for fun to watch the stock market yo-yo? Because it's not going to change. It's not like it's like he keeps testing the same waters. Like, oh, I really want tariffs. Maybe this time they'll work. They're not going to work.
Yeah, it's going to jack up prices. It's going to be rough. But then again, this is he talked about this the entire time he was running, so it's not like a surprise. Now, any right winger who like loves Greenland and voted for him, I kind of feel bad for them because he didn't say shit about that.
He did right before, didn't he? Right? No, that was after the election. That was after the election and before he took office, where he started bringing up Greenland. You're right. That came out of nowhere.
Any Republican who owns a map or a globe store, you know, that had Gulf of Mexico on their shit, now they got to go reprint everything. I feel bad about that. You know, he wasn't talking about that.
I think I mentioned. Fuck it. I'm not even going to talk about the Gulf of Mexico. But the thing with tariffs, we did talk about this. When it comes to protecting like targeted tariffs, electric cars, China will flood the market. Let's protect the auto industry because we can produce.
Well, right, yeah,
right.
And they're targeted.
But the blanketed tariffs, we don't have an iPhone or an Android industry. We don't have a TV. We don't have an electronics industry, computers, televisions. So all that shit, all our furniture, except for like handcrafted artisan stuff, we don't produce. So the idea that were, targeted tariffs make sense in certain cases. Did Obama do them with solar panels? No, he just underwrote the solar panel industry. Either way, it's gonna tank the stock market every time. And speaking of tanking stocks, have you been keeping your eye on Tesla?
I heard it's been going down. I haven't really been checking.
I think it's down around $100 since the start of the year. It was up over 380. And as of this morning, it was 258, I think.
Yeah, I mean, maybe because that might be a good time to buy Tesla, man. I mean, I don't think it's going
a good
away.
time was yesterday. It was at 258, 251. Now it's up to 260. So it's back up 10, but it's down $3 today. It's fluctuating, but it's staying low from its peak.
Okay, well,
But he's going to make it all up in government contracts. He's working on getting cyber trucks to the military. Aren't you? Don't you wish you could be in the military again, Jake? You feel like re-enlisting so you could drive a cyber truck?
No. Every time they would start adding technology to the trucks, it'd get all fucking wonky. So no.
His SpaceX rocket blew up this morning, or was that yesterday? Either way. So
shit, really?
Here's the thing. People are saying, not people, the news, I think it's 4 of 8 rockets have exploded. And man, you put that in baseball terms, that's called batting 500. No baseball player has ever finished a season batting 500. So I say, like as long as only half of them explode, it's working.
Yeah, but every time a baseball swinger swings, it doesn't cost $750 million. That's the difference.
Now you're just dealing in details. I'm trying to look at the overall picture. I'm trying to put the positive spin on. You're
I'm
bogging
telling
me
you, this
down
is the
with
same
money and
argument you made
reality.
for why we should be capping people who commit heinous crimes. It's like, look, if you get one wrong and you get one right, we ain't 50-50 on it. This isn't like, well, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. The goddamn rocket. These are rockets and human beings, man. They're rockets and human
under
beings.
the death penalty. All right, I didn't really send any other news stories because I did one more, just the Ukraine thing. But the Daily Show, Jon Stewart, if you have not seen Monday's Daily Show with Jon Stewart, he
No.
nails the topic of Ukraine and that meeting. So there's no point in us rehashing it.
Trump basically he blamed Zelensky for getting invaded by Russia, and then they roasted him for not wearing a suit, which I completely agreed with. Listen, if not to blame the victim, if he didn't want to get his country invaded, why was he wearing that slutty jacket?
Yeah.
Can you tell me that? Can you tell me that?
I love how people point out that Elon never wears a suit whenever he's around Trump, but what are you going to do? All right, with the last couple minutes then, I want to take a moment, Jake, think of something you want to recommend. My family stumbled across a show called Win or Lose on Disney Plus. I cannot recommend it enough. What they did is they took a kid's softball team, it's animated, and then every episode presents a different person and a different point of view to what's going on in their life. You get to see basically you see a mom who's always on social media and checked out from her kids from the kids' point of view, but then you see it from the mom's point of view, and you see that's enough to just tell you. You see the inner workings of a person and how the idea is we always think we know superficially what's going on in someone's mind when we look at them, and we have no idea what their backstory is or what their struggles are. It is a fascinating show, a lot of heart, some good laughs. It's called Win or Lose on Disney Plus. I think the final 2 episodes come out next week. We binged it. We watched 4 episodes in one night. We watched 2 last night. It's a great show.
I'm watching the new season of White Lotus. That's pretty good.
I've heard about it. What is White Lotus? I've heard about it, but I don't know anything.
It's like murder mysteries that take place at these hotel resorts.
Okay.
And I love it, even though like everybody in the show is hateable. Everybody in the show is hateable. The name of the show should just be called Rich People Finding a Way to Somehow Be Miserable in Paradise. I'm like, fuck you guys, man. Fuck you guys. Like, I'm on the side of most of the staff. They're okay. But I mean, they're bringing people palomas, and they're like, "Hey, would you like anything else with this? We actually hand squeeze the grapefruit." And they're like, "No one will ever love me." And it's like, well, you're looking at the glasses half empty of fresh squeezed paloma. I hope you. Why don't you just wipe your tears with the $250 billion you inherited somehow? You fucking sad sack. I hope you die.
That's what it is right there. If they're trust fund babies, they can go fuck themselves. They never earned anything. That's why they're such. They deserve everything and earn nothing.
Well, no, I mean, anybody, like most of them inherited whatever. But even the rich dudes who are made a lot of money, they're pricks too. They're just fucking upset about everything. And definitely you're rooting for people to die the entire show. Show.
Well, to the live chat, thanks for tuning in on an off day. Jake had a scheduling conflict this week. I'm not going to lie. Next week, third scheduling conflict in a row. I do not know when we're going to go live next week, but hopefully not Friday, because this is obviously, just by looking at the numbers, most people are at work, so
it makes sense. Yeah,
we will try and pick an after work time to record next week. But thanks for tuning in. We're gonna jet out and get on with our Fridays here. This episode will post on Monday. So, all right, Jake, good seeing your face. AC Solar Lass, and who else chimed in? Was there Rich? Rich showed up. Good on you. Thanks for watching the live.
Put a tariff on electric vehicle. Nah, I got nothing. Elon Musk is a trust fund dick. I hope Elon Musk gets murdered in White Lotus season 3. I think we're at 3, right?
I don't know.